The church doors burst open with a loud crash. Gasps filled the room. Music stopped. Guests turned. The bride froze at the altar. And then, the groom's face went completely white. He stared at the woman standing at the entrance like he had just seen a ghost. "Stop the wedding." His voice echoed through the luxury hall. No one understood why. But the moment he looked into her face, everything he had buried for years came rushing back. The wedding was supposed to be perfect. A high-profile event. Elite guests. Media waiting outside. Ethan Cross, CEO, billionaire, and one of the most powerful men in the city, was finally getting married. The bride, Vanessa Hale, stood in a designer gown worth more than most people's houses. She smiled confidently, certain she had already won. This wedding was a business victory. A merger of power. A future secured. Nothing was supposed to go wrong. Until she walked in. 3 hours earlier, Maya Lewis stood across the street from the Grand Cathedral, staring at the golden decorations through blurred eyes. Her hands were shaking. Her dress was simple. Her shoes were worn. She didn't belong here. But she had no choice. "If you don't go now," she whispered to herself, "you'll lose him forever." Her heart pounded painfully. This wasn't revenge. This wasn't jealousy. This was truth. And truth had a way of destroying beautiful lies. Maya had once been everything to Ethan Cross. Before the money. Before the power. Before the world knew his name. Back when he was just Ethan. And she was just a girl who believed in him. 7 years ago, Maya worked 2 jobs. Waitress by day. Library assistant by night. She paid rent late. Skipped meals. Smiled anyway. Ethan was different back then. He wore cheap suits. Drove a second-hand car. Carried big dreams and empty pockets. They met in a cafe during a thunderstorm. "You can sit," Maya said, pointing to her table. "All the others are wet." Ethan smiled. That smile had changed her life. They fell in love slowly. Late-night talks. Shared coffee. Dreams whispered instead of promised. "I'll be someone," Ethan used to say. "And when I am, I'll marry you." Maya believed him. She believed in his ideas. Supported his startup. Helped him pitch when no one else cared. When he failed, she stayed. When investors rejected him, she held his hand. And when he finally succeeded, everything changed. Success came fast. Money followed. Attention followed. And so did people who never noticed him before. Ethan started coming home late. Started answering calls in whispers. One night, Maya overheard a conversation. "She's holding you back," a woman's voice said. "You need someone suitable." Maya felt her heart sink. That night, Ethan didn't come home. A week later, he sat across from her, eyes cold. "This isn't working anymore," he said. Maya laughed nervously. "You're joking, right?" He shook his head. "I've outgrown this life." Outgrown her. No explanation. No apology. Just abandonment. The next day, Ethan Cross disappeared from her life. And the billionaire was born. Maya never told him she was pregnant. She never asked for money. She never chased him. She walked away with her pain and a secret that would change everything. Back in the present, Maya took a deep breath. The wedding bells rang. This was her last chance. She walked toward the entrance. Security tried to stop her. "I need to see the groom," she said firmly. "It's important." They laughed. "Lady, everyone wants that." But then, Ethan saw her. Through the glass doors. Their eyes met. 7 years vanished in a second. His heart stopped. The past crashed into him like a storm. "Maya?" he whispered. And before anyone could react, she pushed the doors open. The sound echoed. Silence fell. All eyes locked onto her. She stood there breathing heavily. Her eyes filled with emotion. And then Ethan did something no one expected. He stepped away from the altar. The bride gasped. "What are you doing?" Vanessa hissed. Ethan didn't answer. He walked toward Maya slowly, like the world no longer existed. "Is it really you?" he asked, voice shaking. Maya swallowed. "Yes." The room buzzed with confusion. Vanessa laughed nervously. "Who is this woman?" Ethan's eyes never left Maya's face. The woman I never stopped loving, he said quietly. The guests erupted. The bride screamed. And Maya's voice trembled as she said the words that would destroy everything. You left me, she said. And you never knew why I came back. She placed a hand over her chest. I didn't come to stop your wedding, she whispered. I came to tell you the truth. Ethan felt his knees weaken. What truth? He asked. Maya looked straight into his eyes. The child you never knew existed is yours. The church fell into chaos. And the luxury wedding was officially over. But what happened next would shock everyone even more. The words hung in the air like a bomb that had just exploded. The child you never knew existed is yours. For a moment, no one moved. No gasps. No whispers. Just silence so heavy it felt painful. Ethan Cross stared at Maya as if the world had tilted off its axis. Child, he whispered. His voice barely worked. Vanessa stepped forward sharply, her heels echoing against the marble floor. This is insane, she snapped. Security, remove her, now. 2 guards moved toward Maya. Ethan turned suddenly. Stop. His voice was low, but commanding. The guards froze. Vanessa stared at him in disbelief. Ethan, this woman is ruining our wedding. He didn't look at her. His eyes were locked on Maya's face. How old? He asked quietly. Maya swallowed hard. 6, she replied. He just turned 6 last month. Ethan's heart slammed against his ribs. 6 years. 6 years ago was exactly when he walked away. His knees felt weak. Why didn't you tell me? He asked, his voice breaking. Maya's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't look away. You didn't give me a chance, she said. You changed your number. You moved. You erased me. Murmurs spread through the guests. Phones were already out. Vanessa's face turned pale with fury. You expect us to believe this? She scoffed. This is clearly a setup. Ethan finally turned to her. Vanessa, please, he said. That single word, please, felt like a slap. She laughed bitterly. So you're choosing this embarrassment over me? Ethan looked back at Maya. No, he said honestly. I'm choosing the truth. Minutes later, the ceremony was officially stopped. Guests were escorted out, buzzing with gossip. The bride's family was furious. The media outside sensed blood. Inside a private room, Ethan sat across from Maya. His hands were shaking. If this is true, he said, I need proof. Maya nodded calmly. I expected that. She reached into her bag and pulled out a small envelope. Medical records. Birth certificate. Ethan's name was blank. But the dates, the hospital, everything matched. Maya slid one final photo across the table. A little boy with dark hair and familiar eyes. Ethan's breath caught. The resemblance was undeniable. Oh God, he whispered. That was his face. His eyes. His son. Vanessa stormed in. I will not be humiliated like this, she snapped. Either she leaves or I do. Ethan stood slowly. I think you should go. Vanessa stared at him. You're joking. I'm not, he replied. I can't marry you today. Her voice dropped dangerously low. You're throwing away a billion-dollar merger for a lie? Ethan's jaw tightened. If it's a lie, he said, I'll face it. But if it's not. He looked at Maya again. Then I already lost 6 years. Vanessa's eyes burned with rage. This is not over, she hissed before storming out. That night, the headlines exploded. Billionaire groom stops wedding. Mystery woman claims he has a son. Luxury wedding ends in chaos. Ethan ignored them all. For the first time in years, money didn't matter. Only answers did. 2 days later, Ethan stood outside a modest apartment building. This was Maya's world now. Simple. Quiet. She opened the door cautiously. Did you get the results? She asked. He nodded. Positive. 100%. He was the father. Ethan closed his eyes as the truth settled into his bones. I have a son, he whispered. Maya stepped aside. Come in. Inside, a small boy sat on the floor, building blocks. Leo, Maya said softly. There's someone I want you to meet. The boy looked up. big eyes. Curious. Hi, Leo said. Ethan dropped to his knees. His throat closed. Hi, he replied, smiling through tears. Ethan. Leo tilted his head. You look like me, he said innocently. Maya covered her mouth, holding back sobs. Ethan laughed softly, then cried openly. I know, he whispered. That evening, Ethan walked Leo to bed. He watched him sleep. Something inside him healed and broke at the same time. I can't change the past, Ethan said quietly to Maya later. But I want to be here now. She crossed her arms. I didn't come to get your money, she said. I came because Leo deserves the truth. I know, Ethan replied. And I want to earn my place in his life. She studied his face. You hurt me, she said softly. You left when I needed you most. I know, he whispered. And I will regret that forever. Silence filled the room. Then Maya asked the question that mattered most. And what about your bride? Ethan exhaled. That wedding is over. She nodded slowly. But this, she said, looking toward Leo's room, this is not a fairy tale. Ethan met her eyes. I'm not asking for forgiveness, he said. I'm asking for a chance. Maya didn't answer, because deep down she was terrified. Terrified that trusting him again could break her all over again. And outside, the world was watching, waiting, judging, ready to tear them apart. But Ethan Cross had already made one decision. This time, he would not walk away. The next morning, Maya woke to the sound of someone knocking on her door. Her heart jumped. She already knew who it was. When she opened the door, Ethan stood there with 2 paper cups of coffee in his hands. I remembered, he said softly. You like yours with cinnamon. Her chest tightened. Some memories never really die. Leo's still asleep, she said, stepping aside. That's okay, Ethan replied. I wasn't here for him. I was here for you. They sat across from each other at the small kitchen table. It felt unreal. A billionaire sitting in a cramped apartment, knees brushing the edge of a cheap table. I canceled the wedding legally, Ethan said quietly. It's over. Maya nodded, not trusting her voice. The board is furious, he continued. Investors are pulling out. She looked up sharply. You shouldn't destroy your life because of me. He met her eyes. I destroyed it the day I walked away. Silence settled between them. Then Maya asked the question she had avoided for 7 years. Why did you leave? Ethan's jaw tightened. My investors didn't think you fit the image, he admitted. They said I needed someone polished. Maya smiled sadly. So you traded love for approval? Yes, he whispered. And I've hated myself for it ever since. Later that day, Vanessa appeared on every screen. Her interview went viral. I was deceived, she said dramatically. He humiliated me in front of the world. The interviewer leaned forward. Do you believe the child is his? Vanessa smiled coldly. We'll see what the courts say. Maya turned off the TV, hands shaking. This is getting ugly, she said. It will, Ethan agreed. But I won't let her hurt you. Maya looked at him sharply. You don't get to protect me now, she said. I learned how to survive without you. He nodded. I know. I just want to stand beside you this time. Vanessa didn't wait. She filed a lawsuit. Defamation. Emotional damages. Breach of contract. The media turned vicious. Was Maya a gold digger? Did she plan this from the start? Maya stopped going out. Leo asked one night, Mom, why are people shouting your name on TV? Her heart shattered. She held him tightly. Because sometimes adults make mistakes, she whispered. Ethan watched the damage unfold. This was his world. And it was crushing the 2 people he loved most. One evening he called a press conference. Maya watched nervously from home. Ethan stood before the cameras, calm but firm. I am Leo's father, he said clearly. The DNA results confirm it. Gasps erupted. I walked away 7 years ago, he continued. And that was my greatest failure. He looked directly into the camera. Maya Lewis never asked me for money. She never chased me. His voice shook slightly. She protected our child alone. Maya covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. This is my responsibility, Ethan said. And I will not run again. The room fell silent. The lawsuit disappeared 2 days later. Vanessa withdrew. The public narrative shifted. From scandal to redemption. But Maya was still guarded. One night, she found Ethan sitting on the floor outside Leo's room, reading him a story. Leo was laughing. Her heart softened despite herself. After Leo fell asleep, Maya joined Ethan on the couch. I'm scared, she admitted. Not of you, of hope. Ethan nodded. I know, he said. I don't expect trust overnight. She looked at him. Then why are you staying? He smiled gently. Because love isn't proven with words, he said. It's proven with time. Months passed. Ethan showed up. School meetings. Doctor visits. Bedtime stories. No cameras. No headlines. Just presence. Slowly, walls began to crack. One evening, Leo fell asleep holding Ethan's hand. Maya watched quietly. You're a good father, she said softly. He looked up. I learned from the best mother. Their eyes met. Something unspoken passed between them. One night, as rain tapped softly against the windows, Ethan spoke. I never stopped loving you, he said. I just stopped believing I deserved you. Maya's voice trembled. And now? Now, he said, I'm asking, not as a billionaire. He took her hand. But as the man who broke your heart. Tears filled her eyes. Ethan, give me a chance, he whispered. Not today. Not tomorrow. But someday. Maya didn't pull her hand away. She didn't say yes. But she didn't say no. And for Ethan Cross. That was hope. But the final test was still coming. Because love that survives betrayal must face the past one last time. And it was about to knock on their door. The knock on the door came late at night. Maya's heart skipped. No one ever visited this late. Ethan was still there, sitting on the couch, helping Leo with a puzzle. I'll get it, Maya said, forcing calm into her voice. When she opened the door, her breath caught. It was Vanessa. No cameras. No designer dress. Just anger and desperation. We need to talk, Vanessa said coldly. Maya stepped outside and closed the door behind her. There's nothing left to say, Maya replied. Vanessa laughed bitterly. You think you've won? She snapped. You ruined my life. Maya's eyes hardened. I didn't crash your wedding for revenge, she said. I came for the truth. Vanessa stepped closer. You think love will protect you? She hissed. You have no idea how his world works. Before Maya could respond, Ethan opened the door. That's enough, he said firmly. Vanessa turned to him. So this is it? She asked. You choose her and the child over everything? Yes, Ethan replied without hesitation. Vanessa's eyes filled with tears, real ones this time. You were supposed to be my future, she whispered. Ethan softened slightly. And you deserved honesty, he said. I failed you too. Vanessa looked between them, then turned away. This isn't over, she said quietly. But her voice lacked power now. She left. That night, Maya couldn't sleep. She stood by the window, staring into the dark. Ethan joined her silently. I never wanted to drag you into my mess, he said. You didn't, she replied. You just ran from it once. He nodded. I won't again. She turned to face him. Ethan, she said softly, love isn't enough. Not after what happened. I know, he replied. But love is where we start. Weeks later, the final court hearing arrived. Not about Vanessa, about Leo. Custody. Maya sat nervously in the courtroom. Ethan sat beside her, not across. When the judge spoke, her voice was calm. The child deserves stability, she said. And 2 parents who choose him. She looked at Ethan. Mr. Cross, are you prepared to step away from public life if necessary? Ethan didn't hesitate. Yes. Maya looked at him in shock. The judge nodded slowly. Then custody will be shared. Relief washed over Maya. Life slowly found a rhythm. Simple dinners. School mornings. Quiet laughter. Ethan moved into a nearby apartment. He didn't push. He waited. One evening, Leo asked innocently, "Why don't you live with us?" Maya froze. Ethan smiled gently. "Because sometimes grown-ups need time." Leo nodded thoughtfully. "Okay," he said. "But you come every day." "I promise," Ethan replied. On Leo's 7th birthday, Ethan planned something small. No media. No luxury. Just a park. Maya watched as Ethan helped Leo blow out candles. Her heart tightened. This was the man she once loved. The man she left behind. After the party, Ethan walked her home. At her door, he stopped. "I don't want to pressure you," he said. "But I need to say this." Maya waited. "I love you," he said. "I loved you before the money. And I'll love you without it." She closed her eyes. 7 years of pain. 7 years of strength. She opened them again. "I'm scared," she admitted. He nodded. "I'll wait." She stepped closer. "Don't," she whispered. He looked confused. "Don't wait," she repeated softly. "Stay." His breath caught. She took his hand. "But this time," she said, "we do it right." Tears filled his eyes. "Yes," he whispered. Months later, they stood together again. Not in a cathedral, but in a quiet garden. Leo stood between them, holding both their hands. "This time," Maya said, smiling through tears, "no running." Ethan smiled back. "Never again." As the sun set, Maya looked at the man who once walked away, and the father who chose to come back. The wedding that was once destroyed had led to a family rebuilt, and the woman who crashed a luxury wedding didn't do it to steal a groom. She did it to reclaim the truth. And in the end, love finally chose her back. Red Heart.